It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. And I am in my back garden. Fall is in the air. It's mid-September and I'm restless. I got to get my hands in the dirt. I know, we could still have some hot weather coming before we really turn down for the fall, but this little ceramic shell planter is just really starting to stretch and look unintentional. It is staged here under this pergola where it gets filtered light. So I feel pretty safe taking it apart and resetting these plants. And I thought I'd take you with me because I'm sure you've got an arrangement in your yard that could benefit from the same treatment. And as long as you protect the plant from the hottest part of the day, I think you'll be okay too. So first off, I have this ghosty, this Graptosedum ghosty here. And look at that. It's a beautiful plant. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just isn't tight and compact in the arrangement anymore. So the way to handle this is just to pull the plant out, roots and all. And what I'm going to do, and I had set this in here when I first did this arrangement as a cutting, and it wasn't that long ago, maybe 3 months. And look at all those roots. So it really doesn't take long under the right circumstances for a plant to reestablish itself. I'm going to cut this plant again, and we're going to start over again. I'm going to take it as a cutting. I'm going to limb up some of these leaves, which you can absolutely propagate if you want. And the reason I'm limbing it up is just so that I have a little piece of stem to put into the soil, which is dry, and I'm not going to water this arrangement until all of these plants that I'm working with have had time to harden off, and then I can mist or I can gently water from there. This little sedum I don't think it ever really made it into the soil. It just kind of ended up laying on top. But once again, you can see how active the root system is here. These plants, they want to live. So this one I'm going to trim right here and handle it in the same way as the little ghosty, but it's got a head start in that it's already thrown off some roots. And while you're at it, satisfy your OCD by picking out all of the little pieces of detritus. It's just the most rewarding thing in the world. And if you need to add soil, after you've pulled all your plants out, that's the time to do it. I don't think I need to add any soil. Soil level looks good. Here's a little Sedum Vera Higgins. Same thing, just leggy, right? So we'll take and trim that plant up too. Set it aside. I don't know what this was, but it definitely gave up the ghost. I think it belongs to this little plant here. Yeah, this little green one. But look at that. Look at how that stem is all rotted and desiccated, but yet the little rosette is still hanging on. These plants are absolutely amazing, aren't they? Let's take and trim that and see what's happening. Nothing is happening. It's dead as a doornail. I don't know how this little plant has survived. I really have no explanation for it. I'll take and pull the soil off from around the roots of that little plant. All right. And here is a little Adolphi sedum, same thing, just a little too much going on there. So we're going to trim it up. Looks like there's a little branch that's coming, or a little new rosette from that notch, so I'm going to leave that leaf alone. Here's another one that got too much water at some point. The stem rotted, but not the entire plant. Look, it still managed to throw off a couple of little cute rosettes. So this is it's almost like petrified. So I think I'm just going to stick this back in the soil as is. You can see a little hair root right there. Okay, and these guys, I'm not sure what this plant is. This one was new to me from Oasis Water Efficient. It's very, very adorable though. Isn't it so cute? So I'll start those back in as cuttings too. Now these over here are a lot more compact. So I don't need to mess with it other than to just kind of clean up some of the dead around the base. This little ghostie also desiccated, but sometimes, you know, a plant will start to rot and save itself. It'll just figure it out, and that's exactly what happened. Rot, 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 no rot. And then it was okay. So we'll just cut off that rotten part and set that aside. Now, this is a Echeveria elegans, or Mexican snowball. I've talked about these a lot in my garden. I got that beautiful pot from my son, and I took it all apart and popped the little snowballs in all over the garden. Here's a little stand that I moved in a recent video that was over there in too much sun, and I brought it over here to help protect it, and already the plant is starting to open up a bit. So this one also is just a really tough stem. Look at all of the little roots that are starting at the bottom. So this is another one that I will just set deep into the soil and just take advantage of that root system that's already started. This Graptopetalum superbum is gorgeous. This is one of my favorite plants. To me, it looks like a jewel, but it's too leggy and it's too big in here. Just not feeling it anymore, so we need to size it. This would be a really, really good one for leaf propagation because it's so full of water. But this amethyst color is just absolutely unreal. I have had tremendous success with this plant as a cutting too. Okay, already this thing looks better already, doesn't it? All cleaned up. Oh, it's so much fun. All right. The plants that are left, I've got a little pincushion cactus here. I've got another little sedum here. These look fine to me. I'm not going to mess with these. I'm just going to reset the plants that I've taken out. But first, I'm going to take some Creva, little white crushed marble, and I'm going to sprinkle some more of that down first.
Here, when you redo it, just face it towards you.
Okay.
So you're not doing it backwards.
Okay.
And it's still going.
All right. Okay. Okay. A couple more little leaves to clean up. A little housekeeping here. Nothing more satisfying. These are just little pieces of black volcanic rock that I found, you know, probably brought home from a project. And this little piece of jade is so beautiful. So if you've got little odds and ends, aquarium rock, you know, little fun little pieces of interesting rock or pebble, these smaller containers are the place to showcase them for sure. You know, it's only been recently too that I have mixed my mediums and worked with cactus and succulents in the same container. And I don't hate it. I mean, it's worked. I was concerned that the succulents would require too much water and that would rot the cactus, but that has not been the case. This ceramic shell does not have any drainage either, so I have to be really careful not to overdo it with the water. Okay, so I'm going to start with my thriller, which would be the superbum. I'm going to place that back down. Remember, like candles in a birthday cake, and if your succulent stands up, you've done your job. So there's my thriller, and then I can take my ghostie, and this is the fun part. This is when, you know, you are literally just decorating. And if you put something somewhere in the arrangement and you decide, oh, you know what, I don't like that there, just move it. No big deal. I'm really hopeful that this snowball is going to do well now that I'm being nice to it and really shoving it down tight in the soil. And then I think, because this has a tendency to be a little leggy, I'm going to take this little green guy and tuck it up under the skirts of that snowball. I think that's going to look really good. Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. All right, and then continue. And this is where design gets really subjective. If you love it, it's awesome. There's no, in my opinion, rules at this point. I think it's just a question of you satisfying your own aesthetic. I like the way that looks. I think it's balanced. So I will bring a third element of this little green guy right up here. And then we've got this one. Tuck it in there. And voila, what an amazing difference that made. What did we spend? 5 minutes? 10 minutes, Hannah says.
Take it to the sun.
I need to take it to the sun so you can see better? Okay. Let's do that. Now, I'm not going to leave it in the sun. I don't want it to burn, but we will take it over here so that you can really see how beautiful it is. It was such an amazing, fun little project to work on, and I feel so accomplished. I cleaned up all of the detritus. I reset things. I mean, look at all of this crap that I pulled out that I get to throw away. So now this little pergola area is going to be so much more inviting to me. I do spend a lot of time sitting out here. So looking at that all run-a-mucky was just not doing it for me. So this just makes me as happy as a clam. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.